Hey, Vanessa.
Hi.
Good to chat with you today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
So many of us have heard about what's going on in India with their second wave of COVID.
Uh,
Now, you and your husband, Mike, live in
yes,
India. Can you
yes,
let us know what's going on? How is it?
absolutely. Yeah, it's been absolutely devastating, the second wave of COVID here. And part of that is just because India is part of the developing world. So that means our hospitals are not equipped to take in millions and millions of people who are sick. So, and if you can imagine too, I believe there's like Delhi's the second biggest city in the world. So having a city like that just overwhelmingly flooded with people who are so sick. There's no way. There's no way. I think there's around 15 million people who live in Delhi if you count the outer regions as well. So we're talking an enormous amount of people who are in need. And then that reaches though up into the upper regions of India as well, like where we live in the mountains. People are getting sick. They're especially the cities I would say are much harder hit, but at the same time here it's like it's still like when people are just getting sick constantly, they have to shut down everything. But when we do lockdowns here, there's no money from the government coming, and so a huge amount of Indians are what we call daily wagers, which means they make a daily wage. So if you work, you eat. So being trapped in your house for a month with no money, no food, people are really suffering. So I would say the biggest thing we've been seeing is not only is there this massive amount of people being sick and not able to get help or even medicine in Delhi, not even fever medicine sometimes, like just basic, like the equivalent of Tylenol, you can't even get. But then on top of that, this huge surge of people who are hungry and sometimes even
Wow.
starving.
Wow.
Mhm.
And how long have the lockdowns been happening?
Oh man. Well, our first lockdown happened last year and that lasted 2 months. And now
Hmm.
we're in our second lockdown, and that one has been about a month. I got
Okay.
COVID right before it. So for me, it feels longer because I got COVID, recovered for like 2.5 weeks, and then went back into lockdowns.
Wow.
Now we're seeing a little bit of restrictions loosening. Like I can be out and about from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Okay.
So, but the majority of the day, you need to still be in your house.
Okay. And you're in the northern part of India, like near the
Ah,
Himalayas.
yes.
Yeah. So when did you start noticing that there were starving families in your area?
Mhm. I think it was about 2 weeks ago or so. We were beginning to notice that people, because people might have a little bit of money from their work to hold them over for a week or so, but when it
Hmm.
keeps going and going and going, and then people are just we also just began to notice people in our own community, they would get sick even, and they would even with something not COVID related, but the fees for them were just devastating. Like it's like half a year's wages going towards a bill, and their families are deeply stressed, and then it's like it pulls on the whole extended family too, to say like, can you help me, I need food, I need, how am I going to pay these bills, blah blah blah. And so then we began looking and digging deeper and realizing like so many people are crying out for food.
Hmm.
And what started, we just kind of said we have this much money, and then with the Fazl partners who were like, here's what we could buy, okay, that would feed people for this long. So for 25 US dollars, we can feed two families for a week. So we wrote
Hmm.
out a list and we're like, okay, we have enough for this many kits. Let's just relief kits. Let's just start.
Yeah.
And then it kind of exploded, which has been like the most amazing part.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
So these relief kits, tell us more about them and what's in them and
Yes.
how can they help families?
Okay, so one relief kit is 25 US dollars or $30 Canadian, and it will feed two families for 1 week, which is
Wow.
incredible. And in it, we put rice, flour for making roti or flatbread, which is like a staple of the Indian diet,
Okay.
lentils or dal
Hmm.
is what we call it here. And again, that is something that's eaten at least twice a day. It's made into like a soup, and it's very
Hmm.
nutritious. So it's very healthy. And that's what pretty much everyone in India eats on a regular basis.
Yeah.
So yeah, lentils, rice, flour, chickpeas, oil, salt, and some vegetables. And we've been doing potatoes, tomatoes, and onions.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And you guys have just started, I think, late last week, raising money for these relief
Mhm.
kits. How many have been donated so far, and how many have been given away?
So this is the hilarious thing. So we started and we just kind of were like, we're just gonna give, if people want to jump on board, that's great. And after talking to you and some others, we were like, we should publicize this. So we had started, our goal was 50 relief kits, and I think we only had money for 30 kits, so 30 families. And we've given out, well, man, way over 150 counting yesterday. Because
Wow.
yesterday we started with 150 given from last week, and then yesterday
Okay.
we gave more. So over 150, and we definitely have enough for over 300 total.
Okay.
So
Wow.
300 families. So if each family has 4 people, it's like over 1,000 people's lives have been touched already. So we're
Yeah.
so thankful to everyone who's giving and helping
Yeah.
us. It's just amazing.
Yeah, well, we're here in Canada, just outside Vancouver, and we've been hearing about this in the news and have been
Mm.
thinking, oh, we want to find a tangible way to help out and to give. And so just when we heard about it, we're like, wow, we know you guys are doing something to help in the immediate, like helping families immediately. And so we thought, oh, this is a great opportunity just for us to help out in such a small way.
Oh, thank you. Well, and I will say this, it is a huge way for these families. Like I was just sharing right before we started, but like one man we met, and so people here, and I think it's the same everywhere in the world. People aren't just sick with COVID, they're sick with cancer, they're sick with all sorts of things, and it's like the worst time to be ill with
Yeah.
any sort of illness. And so this one man we gave to yesterday, he was so overjoyed because his wife had just died and they had 8 children. So
Wow.
he got 2 relief kits because he has technically 2 families.
Yeah.
But we were like, like, in such a time of, and he wanted to take a photo and all this stuff, but we were like, it's such a time of heartache. Like it doesn't heal that wound, but at least it's something to be like, hey, like there's people out here who love you. There's people all over the world who want to see you have a better life,
Yeah.
and they are
And
very poor. Okay. So
yeah.
just saying, like they're struggling on top of everything else. So
Wow.
um yeah, so we're
That's
really
great.
grateful. And there's so many stories of people who are like that.
Yeah. And well, this isn't even your kind of normal day job. Like you and your husband, you guys run Fazl Socks, and you've got a team of women that are knitting socks and hats and mitts for you guys. And it's sold everywhere across North America.
Yeah.
How are these women doing during
Okay.
COVID?
So that is an amazing thing that we're so excited about, because one of the things with Fazl is if people have a job with Fazl, they don't actually need a relief kit because they're earning
Mm,
money. That's the thing. Relief kits are only going to people who there's no income earners in their family.
yeah.
There's nobody. And so when people are supporting Fazl, that's a huge way. If people are drawn to relief kits and want to give to relief kits, we're like, yes, please. But if you want a pair of socks, that is essentially poverty prevention, right? Because you're keeping women
Mm,
employed, and we've always allowed women to work from inside their homes safely. There's about 200 artisans right now, and
wow.
so for them, being able to knit at home, like that is critical because most people don't have a job at all.
Yeah.
So if people want to buy socks and support us that way, get camping socks. That is a huge thing because it's keeping people, you're also feeding families and keeping them supported. A lot of our women are the only income earners in their families right now because of lockdowns and restrictions.
Right. Wow. So if people want to support and give relief kits, where can they do that?
Yes, shopfazl.com. Shopbasil.com, it will come up, and one of the first things you'll see is the relief kits, and you can click there or in the drop down menu, and right through there you can buy a relief kit. Again, it's $25 to feed 2 families for 1 week.
That's amazing. Well, thanks so much to you and to Mike and to your
Pleasure.
team for just doing amazing work there in India. We really appreciate you guys and so glad to support you.
Oh, well, thank you so much for just highlighting this and supporting us on this journey, and we're so honored.